We define ourselves through our history, culture, and food, but we so rarely think to stop and ask, how does it all work? Revealed examines the hows and whys while pulling the curtain back on the things you never thought to ask. On this episode, the story behind the People's Playground, Coney Island.
There's a feeling that I get when I approach the neighborhood that I don't get anywhere else. And it's a magical feeling.
It feels like it's stuck in time. It's always a great vibe. Everyone here is happy.
Coney Island, the world's greatest fun frolic, with its beach miles long, all peppered with people. The place where merriment is king.
For more than a century, Brooklyn's Coney Island has been a destination for thrill seekers all over the city and the world. Its old school charm mixed with classic attractions keeps visitors coming back summer after summer.
When you are in June or July and the sun is shining and you're at the beach in Coney Island, it's an energy and it's a feeling of joy and euphoria.
But this is more than just any beach and boardwalk. It's here where the modern amusement park was invented.
Fast food was created just a couple of blocks away. Rides were invented and built right here.
And continues to thrive.
There have been sideshows in Coney Island for over 100 years, and we're really the last standing show.
We are at the feet of the most iconic drop in the roller coaster world. We are at the feet of the drop of the Coney Island Cyclone.
Its legacy is one that's intertwined with the origins of not only American amusement, but the city itself. Native American tribes were said to call the island Nariak, meaning land without shadows, because of the sunlight its beaches received. Then in 1609, it was where Henry Hudson, the famous explorer, docked his ship, making this the first place Europeans set foot in what would become the Dutch city of New Amsterdam. The Dutch referred to it as Coney Island, meaning Rabbit Island, due to the large population of wild rabbits. The name eventually evolved into Coney Island. Coney Island was even once part of Gravesend, one of Brooklyn's original 6 towns. Fast forward a few centuries, and by 1847, new roads and ship access allowed hotels to pop up on the island. And before long, New Yorkers would flock to the island, seeking relaxation and amusements.
We're sitting right here in the Coney Island Museum, the only museum of its kind dedicated to the history of Coney Island. The neighborhood, the amusements, the architecture. We're located in what is now a 107-year-old landmark building. I am Adam Rinn, the artistic director here at Coney Island, USA. We were founded over 40 years ago up on the boardwalk where the Sideshow was. Everything around here is ridiculously special, you know, like every single item. I mean, probably the World in Wax display is one of my favorites, just because of what it was just such a bizarre thing. It was a wax museum, but the majority of the tableaus were of serial killers.
The original display was on the boardwalk from the 1920s until 1984. Its exhibits, along with other parts of Coney Island history, are housed here, including early 20th century bathing suits.
The history of bathing in the beach here in Coney Island, you know, you used to be able to rent wool bathing suits and have those wool bathing suits touch your body. Not for me. Would you rent a wool bathing suit and have it touch your parts? I would not.
Brooklyn's Coney Island has been known for its amusements, oddities, and hot dogs for more than a century.
It started as a resort for the wealthy, then the train lines opened up. The trains were able to bring people from other parts of the city to Coney Island. You know, it was called the Nickel Empire. You'd get on a train for a nickel, everything basically cost a nickel.
You must come out with a smile.
It was the turn of the 20th century, and Coney Island emerged as a premier destination for leisure and entertainment.
What are you waiting for? Come on, take a ride. Come on, almost.
It's really the birthplace of amusement parks. It's really also when, pop culture started. It's really making accessible to people that they're not part of the elites.
Other amusement parks existed around the country. Lake Compounce in Connecticut is credited with being the first, opening in 1846. But Coney Island is unparalleled in its impact on American culture, known as the birthplace of the modern amusement park. Coney Island Sea Lion Park opened its doors in 1895 and was the first enclosed park in the U.S. Its creator, Captain Paul Boynton, pioneered the idea of charging admission at the gate for multiple rides grouped together. Though the park would close just a few years later, it was known at the time for having one of the first looping roller coasters in America, the Flip Flap Railway. More amusements would open with Steeplechase Park in 1897.
Head over heels, upside down. What's the difference? Here at Coney Steeplechase Park, the fun never ends.
It would be followed by Luna Park in 1903, which was thought to be named for the park's star attraction, a trip to the moon. The park dazzled visitors with its 250,000 electric lights and fantastical attractions.
The electric light bulb was really kind of pioneered out in Coney Island. I mean, this wasn't commonplace back then. It was all candlelit, gaslit. You know, Luna Park has got electricity, and these things run on electricity.
Dreamland would round out the amusement district in 1904 and push the envelope of entertainment. They even reenacted historical events like the Galveston Flood in 1900, the deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history that claimed the lives of at least 8,000 people.
They would recreate a Texas flood, and people would sit there and see and watch it. They would watch an entire scene get overrun by water. You can translate that to reality television in some way. I mean, people want to see the train wrecks. You know, they wanted to see it 100 years ago. They still want to see the train wrecks.
At its peak, Coney Island was the epicenter of amusement and entertainment innovation in America. The first roller coaster at Coney Island was the Switchback Railway, a gravity coaster built in 1884. The ride cost 5 cents and reached a top speed of 6 miles an hour. It was one of the first amusement rides in the United States. But it was one ride that would come to define Coney Island's legacy and captivate thrill seekers for generations: the Cyclone.
It's an icon. It's really an amazing attraction that keeps the thrill level after 97 years. You know, it was built in.
The Cyclone is the oldest wooden roller coaster in Coney Island. It's actually the last remaining wooden roller coaster in Coney. Anything that's built now is built out of steel. The Cyclone is a ride that I can't do anymore. There's no way. I did it 2 years ago on opening day and was running around green and nauseous for 4 hours afterwards, so it's not for me. I leave that to the kids.
We get to 60 miles per hour. It's like 2,700 feet of track. We have 12 drops, 6 turns, and we have really something unique.
The year was 1927, and the Cyclone roller coaster first roared to life. It boasted an all-wooden frame and cost approximately $175,000, equivalent to about $3 million today. When it opened, it was one of the steepest roller coasters in the world, with an 85-foot drop at a 58.1-degree angle. Today it stands as the second steepest wooden roller coaster in the world. When it opened, a ride cost 25 cents. Though more expensive than the subway ride many took to get there, it was probably more thrilling. The coaster eventually fell into disrepair and began to deteriorate by the 1970s. The city planned to scrap the ride. It was saved by Astroland Amusement Park, which opened in 1962. It was declared a New York City designated landmark in 1988. It would eventually be operated by the city's park system. But in 2011, Luna Park took over the Cyclone and gave it a new life.
We've been investing, millions and millions in refurbishing, renovating, obviously make it safer, smoother, and faster, but always with that iconic, bling, 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 with always those iconic, unique features of the Cyclone.
It's all original. Everything here is original. Those are the original motors. That's not the original belt. We change the belt maybe once or twice a year. I believe there's only 3 roller coasters that's still operating with this flywheel, and we're one of them.
The Cyclone is deemed irreplaceable because modern New York City building codes no longer permit the construction of timber-supported roller coasters.
When you make that first turn to the right before the lift, you start really, hearing the noise of the lift train going up, and then you get to the top and you have this beautiful view of the ocean, of the beach, of the boardwalk, of the amusement district. Then there's the drop, and the drop is very intense.
It shakes you around, it's fast, it's a fun wooden coaster.
It's really an icon, not just, in terms of what it represents today, but it's represented for the industry, through the 97 years.
For over a century, Brooklyn's Coney Island has been a destination for thrill seekers from all over the city and the world. But it is more than just rides and games. It's here where the first hot dog was born.
Coney Island's greatest eating invention is the Frankfurter. It's Coney Island caviar.
Charles Feltman, a German immigrant who came to New York in 1856, is credited with inventing the hot dog on a bun at just 15. His idea was born from the desire to sell sausages to beachgoers so they could eat on the go. But today, it's Nathan's Famous, where you will see the crowds flock.
This is just one of the many, many grills here at Nathan's Famous, the original and Coney Island on Surf and Stillwell. And what they do is they're flipping them until it's the perfect amount of cooking. They bun them up, they put them out, and on the 4th of July, you are talking about thousands and thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of hot dogs just going out of here.
The original Nathan's hot dog stand was the brainchild of a Polish immigrant with a $300 loan and his wife's secret recipe.
Nathan's Famous was established in 1916 by Nathan Handwerker, right on this spot. The counter was right here, and we have remained here ever since.
The story goes like this. Nathan came to America in 1912 and worked for Charlie Feltman's in Coney Island, and as he told it, he was inspired by vaudeville stars Eddie Cantor and Jimmy Durante to give Feltman some competition. He did just that with the help of his wife's secret recipe, which is still kept under lock and key to this day. He also charged only 5 cents for a hot dog compared to the competition's 10 cents.
Nathan's obviously served hot dogs and crinkle-cut French fries, but they also served clams and frog legs and all kinds of menu items, which they still do. You can still get frog's legs here.
It would grow from a single stand to taking over a whole block. Today, Nathan's Famous Franks can be found in grocery stores across the country and even the world.
This is a pilgrimage because you're touching into history, you're touching into the myth of Coney Island, into the reality of Coney Island, into all that's happened here.
And its annual hot dog eating contest garners worldwide attention.
The contest was, according to our archives, started in 1916 among 3 immigrants who thought whoever could eat the most hot dogs would be the most American. And it was won by a guy named Jim Mullen, who only ate 13 at the time, and it has really grown since then, and so has the numbers. We got to 25 hot dogs and buns, and then Kobayashi came from Japan. He ate 50, 5-0.
3, 2, 1.
Joey Chestnut came and beat him and has eaten 76 in 10 minutes.
Joey Chestnut!
It's just extraordinary.
Get in here right now. You don't want to miss it. The legendary Sideshow by the seashore. The one and only Coney Island Circus Sideshow.
For over a century, Coney Island has been a hub of entertainment, where the bizarre and the extraordinary have always found a home.
Sideshows in Coney Island were a very, very popular attraction.
Sword swallowing, fire eating.
There is a contortionist.
Today I'm doing the human blockhead, which is putting nails into my skull. This is all very real and it's all absolutely happening. And the biggest difference between what we do and a circus is that circuses tend to be pretty.
The Dreamland Circus Sideshow just down the block boasted, I think, the biggest sideshows with the most famous sideshow performers and attractions anywhere, probably in the world, but certainly in Coney Island.
Freaks from the 4 corners of the world. We've got the show if you've got the dime.
The Dreamland Circus Sideshow was the first to open in Coney Island when Samuel W. Gumpertz, a former manager for Harry Houdini, opened it in 1904. The Sideshow featured 10 unique acts in one show, known as a 10-in-1. Its stars were the Count and Countess Margaret. The Countess had gained her fame years earlier through her first marriage to the beloved dwarf General Tom Thumb.
We can call it a menagerie of the unusual, the giants and little people and Zip. Zip, being certainly the most famous of them all. So this is the Dreamland Social Club. It was where all of the sideshow performers and the freaks got together, and front and center right over here, you got Zip, the What Is It? 1924.
His full name was William Henry Johnson. His tapered head and heavy jaw drew the attention of circus shows, and he became known as Zip the Pinhead, or What Is It? He would be featured in P.T. Barnum's show and eventually retire from traveling and perform in Coney Island. Sideshow performers were separated into 3 distinct categories. The working acts,
which is the sword swallower and the fire eater and the glass walker.
The man-made.
These are people who might be heavily tattooed or heavily pierced.
And the natural born.
Someone with excessive hair, or a little person, or someone with extra limbs or no limbs.
At the time, these shows were often the only place some performers could find work. Today it's much different as society has evolved. Changing attitudes about physical differences and the rise of the disability rights movement led to the eventual demise of the sideshow. It was brought back in 1985 by carnival showman John Bradshaw at Coney Island, USA.
The Coney Island Circus Sideshow is really a postmodern sideshow. We accept everybody.
It's been a home for the people who feel maybe a little on the outside, typically the people who have things that society used to gawk at, or unusual talents, people of all kinds, people of all identities, all abilities.
My act is a fire-eating act. I do some intricate fire manipulation and end by breathing a big fireball off of a flaming heart. I started with fire eating and then learned human blockhead, which is the act where you hammer nails into your nose, and started sword ladder, glass walking, blade box, all kinds of fun, dangerous things.
To perform somewhere that has so much history, it's like you can feel it, there's something in the air about it. It's so special to be somewhere where there's this lineage of performers who do unusual things.
It's the largest art parade in the country. It brings in well over 3,000 marchers. On a good year, probably 500,000 people into the amusement district.
The Mermaid Parade started in 1983 and draws people from around the world looking to express themselves and support fellow artists.
It doesn't matter what color you are and what color your skin is and what your orientation is. You're all here to celebrate, to be you, to live in the moment. And that's what the Mermaid Parade is about, living in the moment.
From the dazzling Mermaid Parade to the thrilling rides of Luna Park, Coney Island lives in the heart and passion of the people who embrace its unique charm and its storied past.
There's a magic in the air. I feel it. I always have.
People around America and the world recognize that this is a piece of history.
Coney Island is the people's playground. You can come out here, get on the rides, see a show, and not break the bank.
It's got that kind of grit to it. It's got that kind of, dirty charm to it. It's kind of a scamp of a vacation destination.